Hello everyone, welcome back to Analyzing Our Games Part 12. Some games are very important for us because they make part of our repertoire, and also because it consists of a laboratory. It's kind of a laboratory that we've been working with, so it helps our repertoire and also our opening laboratory and middle game and end game knowledge. So the game I played: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. That's the Italian game. This is an opening that I've been practicing lately. It's very nice because it's a modern Italian game. It consists of a kingside attack. It's very nice. I've won some games with it, so I think it's worth playing and getting better at. Then my opponent played knight f6. I defended it. My pawn d3, h6. This is nice because this is exactly what we want black to do, to play h6, and then we're gonna play h3 and g4, and after g5 and so on, and attack on the king side. So it's good for white. Then my opponent, then I played c3, d5. This is a mistake. The best option here is d6, and then maybe h3 with the idea of expanding on the king side and attacking the black king. But d5 is a mistake because we have to take on d5, the knight d5, of course, and here I played h3. It's not good. It's also a mistake, but I didn't know that when I played this game. Now it's part of my repertoire to know the best continuation, and the best move here is queen b3. I attack on d5, and I also attack on b7. Then let's see the continuations black has here. One of the first one, the best ones, probably the best one, is knight a5. Then we have to check on a4, check. Then the continuations here are all giving advantage to white. For example, if the knight goes back to c6, then we take on e5, and then we have a double here. And in case of knight queen e7, then we take on d5, then check and interpose here, and if black decides to exchange the queens, and we get this position, and white is a little bit better because of having more space, and also because of one pawn. It's one pawn. It's not much, but it can make a difference in later stages of the game. Okay, so let's go back. And there are many variations here. I think it's impossible to analyze all of them, but let's suppose white plays black plays bishop e3, e6 to defend the knight. Then we can take on b7, and we have some continuations here: knight a5, bishop b5 check, and the king has to move. In case of bishop d7, then we take on d7 with check, queen takes. If the king takes, then we can take on d5 and check, and then the king has to move, and then we take there the knight on a5, and it's even better. Here white is completely winning, much better. There are many variations here, and then we have to study to know them, because the more advanced we are in the analysis, the more we remember. It's also a question of memory. The better we're gonna be the next time we play the same position. So that's why I said it's a laboratory. We have to check the game, to analyze, and to see the best moves in the position. So going back to the game, after my mistake, h3, my opponent played bishop e6, defending the knight, very good, but also exposing this pawn on b7. But now there's no problem, because if I attack this pawn with the queen, for example, black can play rook b8 or even queen c8. There are many options here, but the best option here is to play knight b6, and then it transposes into a kind of a Ruy Lopez. After bishop b5, then bishop d6, defending the pawn, and then castling, and the position is equal. Nobody's better. So after bishop e6, I played queen e2. I kept putting some pressure on e5. I want to take this pawn, but my opponent played very well, defended very well, and I lost the game, unfortunately. So a better move would be castling, because it takes your king to protection, and now white can develop the game smoothly and no problems at all. But as I have won some games attacking on the king side, I was kind of obstinate about this idea of not castling. So that's why I decided not to castle. So bishop d6, b4. I want to expand on the queen side, and also at the same time I wanted to delay my castling. Castling here is the best option in Stockfish or Leela's opinion, but I wanted, as I said before, I wanted to delay castling and attack on the king side. So after b4, my opponent played queen f6, defending again the pawn on e5. Maybe better is to play a6 to avoid b5, and also keep this knight here well placed. Okay, so after queen f6, I played another passing move. Like, the problem with this game was that I was trying to lose moves, to pass moves, and this is not good, and I proved this was not good, and I lost the game. So bishop d2 is a mistake. Better again is to castle, or even there's a continuation, an interesting one here, to take on d5, and bishop takes, knight bd2, castle, or even long castles. Black can play long castling and castle short, and then we have different ideas here. Black is gonna attack on the king side, and white is gonna attack on the queen side. So this is another option we have here. So after bishop d2, black castled, and I played knight a3. This is a mistake again. Castling is better. So knight a3, a6, knight c2, I was trying to regroup my pieces and do something, and it's also a mistake because I have to castle. Castling is the best option here. I have to forget the initial intention of attack on the king side and do something and defend myself. So after knight c2, my opponent played here knight f4, and then I took, of course, yeah, because this knight is causing some trouble attacking my queen and attacking the pawn on g2, so I have to eliminate it. But here my opponent surprised me. He took on c4. I thought he would take on here and then I would castle. Okay, there's a crazy variation here. Bishop g5, then h takes g5, d takes c4 and e4, and then knight fd4, bishop takes. There are some exchanges here, and finally castling. And here black's a little bit better. I think it would be much better to follow this sequence, but I didn't play this. I got a little bit stuck with the idea of attacking on the king side, and that was my downfall. So bishop d2, I put my bishop back to d2, and then my opponent played this bishop d5, and it's a mistake. Better is to take on d3, and then we have this idea of e4, yeah, because of this column here. I can't take. If white takes on e4, it's a mistake and the game is over. Black wins. So I have to go back and lose the knight and lose the castling, because now I have to move my king and white can exchange rooks or can do something, and black's a little bit better here. Not much, not winning, but advantage. So after bishop d5, it's a mistake, I played this knight e3. Then he took on f3. Better, as I said before, would have been to play bishop e6, and then he played he took on f3. I took with the pawn because I was with that idea of attacking. Again, in chess we have to be flexible. Sometimes we have to change our thoughts and change the ideas we have planned. So after this exchange, the position, white position, is acceptable here. It's possible to draw or keep a well-balanced position. But I took with the pawn, and it was not good because my opponent played very well. Queen e6. He was now avoiding my king to castle short and long because of these diagonals. Yeah, very good diagonals here. So I played this because I wanted to attack on the king side. Queen f1. Better in computers, idea is to play a5, a4. So queen f1. Black played f5. Also possible is to play this, the rook a d8, and then I played this. I want to attack on the king side, so I was trying to mobilize my pieces to go to the king side, to the other side of the board, and attack my opponent's king. So queen g2, f4. My opponent tried to close my bishop and also attack my pawn, my knight, and do some things. Maybe instead of moving my knight, I should have played this before, but it wouldn't change much because I would threat mate. Now he has to defend it with g6, and there are some variations here, but black is better in all positions. So after knight g4, my opponent played b5. He wants to close the queen side and also attack at the same time. So my king stuck in the middle. Sometimes it's okay, but in this case it was not, because he attacked my king very well. Let's see, then I played h4. I was with the idea of attacking my opponent's king. Then a5. See, I'm attacking here on the king side, queen side, king side, and my opponent's attack on the queen side. So attacks on opposite wings. I took on b5, on a5. He took it with the rook. h4, h5. Yeah. Now this pawn is, this position here is closed. I have some chances here. Maybe I should have taken my king to the other side and put it here, maybe. I don't know. I have to investigate it a little bit better to know what's best. Then my opponent played king h7. Here I aligned my pieces on the g file to try to get something. I remember I was a little bit afraid of my position here. I was not happy with my position at this moment. My opponent defended very well. Yeah. Maybe better is to play rook f5, and black is much better in this position. Okay, so after rook f5, I played here king e2, and it's not good. Better, but I didn't see during the game, was to take the pawn on h6, and then in case of queen takes on g6, queen g6 check, queen takes, h takes, the king moves, and then we have check, and then white is a little bit better here. So I would have turned the game around, and maybe I would be able to win this position. I don't know, maybe. There are some problems here with my opponent has more pieces here, and maybe, but if I had exchanged some pieces here, maybe I would be able to win this game or draw, I don't know. So instead of this, I played the not good king e2. Then my opponent attacked. It was a very nice move, because he wanted to put his knight here with a check, so it was good. I didn't know what to do. Maybe, of course, I didn't see this, it was too much at the moment, and I remember I had very little time on my clock. And maybe after knight takes on h6, then rook e7, and then we don't have much more. This is not good, because we have, as I mentioned before, that variation that we have check on g6, and after some exchanges we take a rook, and this is better for white. So after this, my opponent checked on d4, and then I had to move my king f1, and then I was a little bit afraid of this pawn here, but of course I didn't see all the variations that the computer has suggested. So taking on a2 is a mistake. Better is to play rook a3, because after rook takes on a2, and after he retakes, my opponent had to retake it. There's this move, and I played this move during the game, but I didn't follow it the best options, because after knight f6, my opponent played this. That's the only option he has, and instead of playing knight e4, the winning move is queen g6. Then my opponent is losing, because after queen b1 check, I had this move, and then if he takes on d3, of course I would take with the rook, with the queen, and white is much better here. Yeah. And let's see other options. This would be the move, yeah, queen g6, because it threatens mate here, and also to take the rook. No, not to take the rook, because it's protected by the queen, but I had the checkmate here on h7. The problem is here. After this, I have to, let's see other. In case he takes on a3, a1, I take with the king, no problem. Then he has a check here, but I escape with the. There's also a sacrifice here, very nice one, on g5, and if he takes, I checkmate on h7. But after this was the mistake, a horrible mistake. Knight e4 was a mistake. After this check on b1, I resigned, because my king can escape, and if I play bishop e1, then my opponent takes on d3, and there's checkmate on e2. So it was a very nice game. It's a pity that I didn't see these continuations. It would have been a very beautiful game if I had found these continuations, because I found the knight f6 check, so it was the beginning of the combination, but I didn't see the continuation that would have been queen g6. So the most important thing about this game is that we have talked about this, the idea of this, the fifth move, d5. This is not good. The next time I play someone and he or she plays this, I'm gonna follow these continuation, and he or she is gonna be probably my victim, because I'm gonna win the next game. Thank you very much. Take care.